Shalom. All praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, where I learned this truth from. Much respect to the brothers that are out there preaching and teaching the truth worldwide across the four corners of the earth, risking their lives and freedom for this truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, the house of David, and the Akim and Akwap that might be listening to this lesson on today. This is your brother Abad Yabba coming through with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. And the title of my lesson is Don't Get Weary, We're Almost Home. Now, weary is defined as feeling or showing extreme tiredness, especially as a result of excessive exertion. Now, that applies to us as far as, getting weary, because we do get tired. We do exert excessive energy when it comes to this truth. We should be on fire. So that means that each and every day we're providing that exertion as far as going forth, doing what is required of us, providing our reasonable service each and every day, and knowing that we have those spiritual battles that we go through each and every day as well. So with that being said, we're almost at the finish line. We can see the finish line. We know, because of the prophecies that's being fulfilled, that we're so close. So this lesson is just to provide the scripture, but also a faith booster for us to not get weary, to not give up, even though our bodies get tired. But spiritually, we should be ramped up, because we know that we're almost at the end of this thing, and knowing that Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is going to give us everything that we need. We just have to continue to follow the path and stay on that narrow path as well. So with that being said, that is what the lesson is for today. And I pray, it will be edifying as I go through the scriptures. So without further ado, my first scripture is Matthew 5:10-12, and it reads, it says, "Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteous sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you." So this is letting us know to continue to stay on the path, continue to know that people are going to do things because they did the same thing to Yahweh Shai when he was here. So continue the path, continue to stay, the way of righteousness, because you will be rewarded at the end, because that's what Yahweh Shai did, and he provided the blueprint for us. And if we just stay the course, then we will be rewarded as well. We will be able to have what we desire, which is the kingdom, and that's what we're striving for. So we want that. We desire that. We look forward each and every day for this kingdom to be destroyed, because we are longing for the kingdom. But we got to make sure that we don't go weary, don't get too tired to where we fall off and we fall out. We have a requirement of us in order to get what we desire, and that is to stay the course, stay the path, and follow the law, statutes, and commandments, and do the work that is required of us. And we want to make sure that we do that to the best of our ability daily. Matthew 11:28-30 reads, it says, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light." So Yahweh Shai basically spoken to us, and said, that we should cast our burdens and our tiredness upon him, and he will give us, what we need. You know, so with that being said, we know that we got to pray. We know that we have to, ask, seek, and knock. And if we ask for something, and if we're seeking Yahabashim Yahushua, and we're knocking, doing the things that are required of us, he will provide us whatever we need. So if we're getting weary, if we're getting tired, we have to pray that he will give us the energy that we need to complete our task. And we can't let this world get to us. We can't let this world tell us that we're not going to make it. We can't let this world distract us. We can't let this world put forth barriers when it comes to our faith and our spirituality, because it will do that. That's what this world is designed to do. That's what evil and carnality and confusion and deception is. It's to stop you and to disconnect you from Yahweh Shem Yahushua, but we got to stay connected. We don't want to stay connected to the matrix. We want to stay connected to our Father and our big brother in order for us to make it out of this wicked kingdom. Each and every day we desire more of Yahweh Shem Yahushua and less of this world and less of this flesh, because this flesh is wicked, and we know that. So Galatians 6:9 reads, it says, "And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap, and if we faint not." So we shouldn't go tired of doing the work. We shouldn't get tired of doing what our bodies have been required to do as living sacrifices and willing servants unto Yahweh Shem Yahushua, because we know in due time what we've been doing will be blessed for it. We'll be rewarded for it if we don't fall out, if we don't give up. And that is what this whole lesson is about. Don't get weary, because we're almost home. We're right there. Ephesians 2:8-10 reads, it says, "For by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves is the gift of Yahweh, not of works, lest any man should boast. For we are his workmanship, created in Hamashiach Yahushua unto good works, which Yahweh hath before ordained that we should walk in them." So it's by grace, that we're still here, that we're able to do what we do, and we believe, we have faith in it, so we have to understand that this is a gift from Yahweh Shem Yahushua to continue to give us what we need on a day-to-day basis. So we should not get tired. We should count it on joy that we are able to make it each and every day, and understand that this is a faith walk. This is a journey that we've been put on because Yahweh Shem Yahushua has a chosen people, and he's called. Many are called and few are chosen. So with that being said, we want to be of the chosen few, the remnant. And we got to make sure that what we do, understand it's because he's blessing us to do it. And we've been created to be able to make it through. But we have to have that faith. We have to continue through that faith and have that fear of Yahweh Shem Yahushua in order to continue to stay the course and stay on that narrow path. But it's all because of him and his blessing and his grace that we're still here. So don't take it for granted. Hebrews 12:3 reads, it says, "For consider him that endured such contradiction of sinners against himself, lest ye be wearied and faint in your minds." So we need to think upon how Yahushua dealt with everything while he was here. All the things that he dealt with, he continued to endure. He never gave up. He never showed that he was tired. He just kept pushing forward. And that's like I said, the blueprint of how we should live our lives and how we should learn from what he did when he was here. We cannot be him. He was perfect. But we ourselves should follow his lead and continue to be led in the spirit to do what is required of us as men and in the few women that are sincere, to continue to do the work. Continue to, it's not the work that's going to save us, but it's us desiring to stay on that narrow path and to have faith in Yahweh Shem Yahushua that He's working through us and that He will use us in order for us to do what is required of us. And we will not get weary because we are continue to do what He wants us to do, and that we stay in line with what He has for us as far as the path, and that we stay connected as far as praying, as far as fasting, and as far as understanding by examining ourselves on a day-to-day basis. Like I said, none of this is falling as if I'm not included in all this. I know myself, I have to stay in line and stay on the path. I don't want to be weary. I don't want to get weary. I don't want to be in that 2/3 realm. I desire to be in the realm of the chosen, of the remnant, and I want to do what is required of me, and I desire to do that. So we got to stay in line with what has been already put forth for us. We just have to follow that path and stay on that path each and every day without being weary, because Yahushua didn't do that. He did what was required of Him, and He did more because He was on fire. He wanted to be in His rightful place, and He did what He was supposed to do, even though there was things that He didn't want to do. He didn't desire to be up on that cross, but He did it because He knew that was what His path was, His lot was, rather. And that's what we have to do. Whatever our lot is for us, then that's what we do, and we do it with a passion, with a fire, knowing that our Father doesn't make mistakes. When He made us for a purpose, and we want to serve that purpose. My last and final scripture is coming from Revelation 2:3, and it reads, says, and has borne and has patience, and for my name's sake has labored and has not fainted. Salakia. So in the NLT, it reads, it says, you have patiently suffered for me without quitting. And that should be our mantra. That should be something that we go through each and every day in our mind, that we have patiently suffered for Yahweh Shem Yahushua without quitting. We want to do everything that is required of us, and we want to do it patiently, because we know that we're ready to be up out of here. All of us that are sincere, all of us that is doing this work, all of us that are in this truth, we're ready to be up out of here. And we know that we're suffering, but we're going to do it without quitting, because Yahweh Shem Yahushua has blessed us to do what we've been required to do, and He's given us everything that we're needed and that is required of us, and He's equipped us. He's prepared us for this time even. So we don't want to get weary, because we know that we're so close and we're almost home. So with that being said, that concludes my lesson. I pray that all that were listening were edified. And as always, I give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Until my next lesson, Shalom.